Well, Simon Wilson, Stockport County's Director of Football. Since we last met, it's not been bad, has it? We've not lost a game. We've equalled a post-war record, 16 games without defeat, best defence in the National League, best goal difference in the National League. We also know now it's the best start ever by a manager since the war, equalling Bob Kelly as well in 1936. He had exactly the same record, played 25, won 13, drawn 9, lost 3. Terrific work from obviously Simon Russ, but from the team as well. How much store do you put by a run like this?
Well, I think a run like that is it's great to have those sorts of things talked about. I think that it's great for confidence. And I think it's a real, there's sorts of things that sort of showcase the work that everyone's doing at the club. Yeah. People can be really proud about them, and supporters can be proud about them. I think Simon, myself, the rest of the team here, we will let those records kind of take care of themselves. We need to think about the next game. I think the thing about what probably I focus a little bit more of my time and attention on is the underlying performance that drives those records. And I think what we've seen all year is that we've had a high level of performance all season. Sometimes have not got results, so we perhaps haven't been able to have those extended runs. And even in this run, there's been times where perhaps we haven't played as well as we had done previously. So it's sort of, what's dangerous is paying too much attention to long runs, and those runs can become, points of pressure in a way. I think we just have to stay really, really neutral, just look at performance, look at what's driving the results, and make sure that we continue to try and improve in everything we can do.
But when you look at it from when you came in and to where we are now, has it exceeded your expectations, or are we probably where you wanted to be anyway? Yeah,
I think with any football team, there's so much that can happen over the course of a year. You want to arrive in the last moments of the season competing, and I think that's where we are and we've been, and that it kind of brought it to life with last Sunday's game. It's they're the games you want to be playing in, where matches that matter, high quality games of skill and technical, tactical, physical ability, and that's where you want to be. You can't, of course. Yeah, I think every supporter here, myself, yourself, we'd all been wanting to be in number one position. So, but was it our expectation to be there? No, because I think we're a little bit more realistic and experienced to know that, you as long as you arrive there or thereabouts, then that's been a good effort from everybody. So, I'm happy with the position that we're in. Like I said, my focus is on the underlying performance of the team, and are we growing this team and these players that we've got to maximise their potential? And after that, the results will hopefully take care of themselves.
It's an interesting one this weekend, obviously, because the fans are back for the first time. It's a day we've all been waiting for. It's funny as well. I was sat on the in the press box for the first time in a while, actually, on Sunday. So I had a good view of you. And the way you're jumping about as well, and you're a fan now, whether you like it or not, aren't you? But what difference do you think it'll make having the fans back in? I know it's a kind of strange one because we can't have everybody back in, but the club and the local authority have worked a process. What sort of difference do you think it's going to make?
It'll make a massive difference. It's just not been the same. It's been well talked about, and it's been deeply felt. I think that I think what's been good about this is people have now realised the value of fans and spectators in sport, and we're probably right-sizing, the value of that rather than all the other elements that get talked about within the game. It's now that we're having a conversation about supporters and the importance of supporters and that culture and that experience and what it brings to the sport and to the game. I think. I'm excited to have the fans watch our team inside Edgeley Park. I'm really hopeful that they like what they see, and we get a good result on Saturday for them to enjoy.
I know they have enjoyed the chance to see us on the stream. And I know they appreciate the way that you and Simon have got the team playing now, but there is no substitute, is there, for actually being at the game and see, you can isolate one player and focus on that, or one pattern of play, or it's set piece, or whatever it is, but you can focus a little bit more. Yeah. And there's no substitute, is
it's
there?
I know from scouting perspective, we watch tons and tons of players on video, tons of games on video. And that's good. You can see a lot, and it's a really good way of staying in touch with stuff. But being in the ground and experiencing it is such a richer experience, isn't it? And I think that's what we all want. I think that's why the players, commit what they do, and all the people around the club commit what they do, is for those matches that raw when you walk out, and all the consequences of a good tackle, bad pass, this and the other. It's it brings it to life. It makes it alive, and we're just so looking forward to having our fans back inside our stadium. And seeing a new stadium in a way, and a new team. I
think as well, I remember back to our title season, and I think, late goals against Spennymoor from Sam Walker. There was a late goal, Sam Minihan, I think, against Kidderminster, the atmosphere in the Curzon Ashton game. All of that, I do think the fans probably play a bigger part than we actually realise, and even down to influencing the officials and that kind of thing. They do have an active role.
No doubt about it. There's times when in a game, no matter what you've practiced, planned, done, substitutions, you need help. And there's no doubt about it, is that our fans in certain moments of this season would have helped the team. And we haven't had that. So no one else has either. So that's been the levelling factor. But we're just so looking forward to having them here, and the fact that we're arriving at this end of the season with things to play for, fans can come and watch the game, it just kind of makes it perfect. So we're just looking forward to having them in on Saturday, and then take it from there.
Away from the pitch, I know you've been busy behind the scenes. There's been some new contracts recently. Alex Reid, Sam Minihan, who we just mentioned, Jon Keighren, and this week James Jennings, Will Collar. I think what's nice as well is Will is obviously a fairly recent addition, but all those other players that I've mentioned, there's almost a sort of continuity with those guys, isn't there? It's lovely to see that thread still running through the club, particularly I think with the likes of Sam and Jordan. It's great to see.
Totally right, John. You're spot on. It is. It's all about continuity. I think it's an underestimated element of team building, is that consistency and that continuity. You've got little relationships that have built and are growing. You've got understanding of the club, of the club's culture, of the tactics, of the style of play. All of those things, they don't get worse with time; they get better. And the other thing I've always noticed about sort of lower league football is that clubs are sort of adverse to giving out contracts earlier and multi-year as well. So I think as long as you do your right assessment on the type of character and the type of player that they are, there shouldn't be any fear in giving people multi-year, because we're going to still have a football team here in 2, 3, 4 years' time, aren't we? So,
but you're right. I think especially the lower down you
leagues,
go, the rarer 2 and 3 year deals.
And I think there's a bit of a false belief that 1 year contracts keep people on the hook all the time. I think 1 year contracts put loads of fear into people that stop them being from themselves, and make them behave differently than they would do if they were comfortable. So I think where it's right, we sign multi-year contracts with players, and we have them part of what we're doing, and make them fully committed to what they're doing. And then they can live their life. I think they take Stockport County more seriously in a way, and become more on board with what we're trying to do, rather than living in fear of just try whatever it is to get the next contract, and then maybe it's not here, that they have to start looking outside of the club. I want our players 100% focused on what we're doing here, and fully bought in and embedded into our work.
And as well as that, obviously some new additions to the squad, with Elliot Newby signing a permanent contract, and Ryan Rydell as well, who got man of the match on his first start for the club.
Yeah, delighted for Ryan to perform like that in his home debut. Start with Elliot. Elliot's been a player that's been on our target list for a while. He's been someone that we were watching. going back to the reason him coming in, the National League North shutting down, it provided a perfect opportunity to have a longer and more detailed look, not just on his matches, but how does he train, what's he like off the pitch. And I think, I wouldn't imagine there's too many people that would disagree with the decision for Elliot to come and join us, permanently, because I think he's been a standout player in many of our games and really helped to make a difference. He's a player with his own personal ambitions to go and play in the league. I think he and we hope that that's with us.
Yeah.
And we think that the platform that we've got here with the great training ground, the coaching staff, the support that around him, and a great squad of players as well, will give him that opportunity. But Elliot has helped the team, in this period, and I've no doubt that he will continue to do that and help us as we look to grow.
How hard is it, Simon, for you to plan ahead, because we actually don't know which league we're going to be in next season? So, or are you taking such a long-term view anyway that it doesn't actually matter the immediate next 12 months? It's irrelevant which division we're in.
No, it's not irrelevant. But going into League Two, becoming a league club is a game changer. I don't think that can be understated. In regards to many things. So, of course, our focus is trying to get there. But you're right, it is hard to plan practical things like pre-season and close season, how much rest we're giving the players and that type of thing, because of the different start dates between the two divisions. And now to the point as if we know our route to League Two, if we're able to make it, is going to be through the playoffs, is that there are only 7 weeks between the final whistle on in the playoff final and the first whistle of 7 weeks. So I think we need to make sure the players. This has been a long year as well, John. The players reported back here, back with us before we moved to Carrington in late June. So it's we're coming up for 12 months, on the fly here, and they are going to need rest, but they're not, if we're successful, there isn't going to be a huge amount of time for it. Yeah. So those things are all factoring in, and we've got, I think I've got on my desk over there, we've got 5 different scenarios of how things would play out. I think a couple of those are off the table now, but we're having to put draft plans in for everything, and Alex Cowdy is busy on the phone ringing everyone, trying to hold positions with pre-season opponents and that type of thing. So. Yeah, there's a lot of planning to do, but it's all exciting, and that's the sort of stuff that Alex and I are working in the background, allowing the team to just concentrate fully on the next game. I
hadn't realised it was such potentially a short turnaround as that. One person that will impact is going to be the groundsman, obviously. Liam Cash, I think a number of people have commented to me about the condition and standard of the pitch since Liam's returned. Yeah. I mean,
remarkable,
it wasn't bad, but what a turnaround, and it really is immaculate now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think that I suppose it all goes hand in hand. Liam's return, we needed an expert to help us lead that. The pitch is absolutely fundamental to a football club, isn't it? The fact that a great surface helps the team in the way that they play, but it looks great for supporters walking through the door to see a beautiful pitch, and it's an element of pride. I remember walking through the gates just a couple of weeks ago for the Dagenham game, and walking through and just looking around the quality of the stadium, the quality of the pitch. Yeah. Just feeling really proud about the way that everyone is sort of up in their game. Yeah. And I think big credit to Liam since he's come in. There's been some additional investments, so again, thanks to Mark, thanks to people like Rick Simkin who've organised it, and it's not just at Edgeley, John. I don't think the supporters would realise the work that's gone on in the pitches at the training ground. Which has been an incredible turnaround here through what's been what was a couple of difficult months. So we're now going into the final part of the season, training on a great pitch and playing on a great pitch, and as we know, we've put in all the odds in our favour here to do the best work, which will in turn lead to the best performances.
One thing that I was keen to catch up with you about today was the situation with Connor Jennings. Obviously, everyone knows about his diagnosis. I'm not sure where he's up to now in his path towards further treatment. But what's the situation with Connor contractually, I suppose, with the football club, and how are we looking after him in the meantime as a club?
Yeah, no change in that regard. Connor's a contracted player with the club. He has another year on his playing contract.
Good, yeah.
He's an employee of the club, and we take care of him, and we'll continue to do that regardless. So Connor, as I understand it, is he has more tests coming up at the end of this month, and then I think there's a bit of a fork in the road in terms of his treatment plan. Connor's in a good place. He continues to be here a lot, continues to train. He's watching a lot of training sessions. He's working with the goalkeepers. He's trying to carry equipment when he shouldn't be, and stuff like that. He's at every game and fully committed to what we're doing and helping that group of players.
I think that's been good, hasn't it? Obviously, to still see him around the place, with a diagnosis like that, you wonder how he's going to respond, but to still see him as visible, as active as he is,
I think. Great. I mean, you wouldn't know, would you?
No,
you spoke to him. I've spoken to him, but speaking to Luke, we will often check in. I think he has good days and bad days, which is totally natural. But I think he's shown remarkable bravery and spirit with the situation, and he's adding value to what we're doing here. With the fact he can't do that on the pitch at this moment in time, on the match pitch, but around the training ground, around the camp, he's been absolutely brilliant.
Good to hear, and we all wish him well, of course. And Mark Kitchen, we're not expecting to see, I think, before the end of the season. Obviously, still struggling a bit with this back problem. But are we likely to see Will Collar and Paddy Madden? Do you think they're going to be back shortly?
We're hopeful. We're hopeful. With injuries, sometimes it's not a straight line. So the initial diagnosis can be, overly positive or overly negative sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a good case. I think in the early stages of Paddy's injury, we thought, oh dear, but I think it's looking better than we initially thought. And then the same with Will's, we probably thought it was more minor. Then it's probably become a little bit more complicated and delayed. But
the hamstring, isn't it, with
hamstring,
Will?
Yeah. But we'll make sure. I guess it's my job to make sure that Luke and the team are as supported as well as possible, so that they can provide the best service for Will and Paddy in this moment. And we'll continue to do that to give them every chance of coming back and helping the team. That's
good to hear. I know you try and take a sort of broader view, a more long-term view, a more strategic view of everything, but I mean, as a fan, you can't help just looking at that league table now and look at the number of games left and going, is it just a straight shootout, us against Hartlepool for third? Is that how you see it now?
Oh, John, I'm a total hypocrite. I come into work and sort of say, we've got to, focus on the process and all the rest of stuff. And at home, I'll just look at the league table and work out all the permutations and this and that. And no, I think we all are. I'm a fan at heart too, and that's what we do. My professional head says we have to focus on what we can control and do those things. We've played our games against Hartlepool in the league this year, so we can't do anything more about Hartlepool's situation. What we can do is take care of our game on Saturday and take care of the game against Yeovil on the final Saturday of the season. And after that, we'll work out where we are and what we've got to do, and that's all we can do, isn't it?
As I say, I watched you the other week and on Sunday, and I saw you getting very involved in the game, which is great to see. And I'm just thinking, finally, really, to your previous experience, you worked at a very high level, and all the work that you did with the Manchester City group in particular. Have you ever experienced anything like this before? Have you been involved in this kind of a promotion race before, where you've been so involved?
Yeah, well, luckily, I think it was a big part of my time at City was year on year. The team getting better, the club getting better. So when I joined in 2006, City, I think, were finishing roughly 13th, 14th in the Premier League, and were budgeted to finish about that rank. So it was if we finished 13th, it was like, if we finished 15th, it was underperforming. So, and year on year, that challenge got harder, but we got closer. So the first challenge was about finishing in the top four. And then it was about, can we go and win it? Or in between, trying to win a trophy, winning the FA Cup. So I've been lucky to kind of be around a club that is improving and having that sort of sense of momentum that things are getting better and our chance of success is increasing. And I certainly feel that here. Hopefully, we're putting the right things in place so that we can have more permanent, more consistent success. But then when you get to these final matches of the season, it all comes down to that 90 minutes or that 45 minutes or that last 5 minutes, and I suppose the Aguero goal in the final game of the season with the final kind of kick of the ball shows you how tiny the margin can be. I just think there was a moment after the game against Torquay on Sunday where I'm sat in my car on the way home thinking about the points we didn't get for the disallowed goal against Notts County, and losing a 2-goal lead at home. I'm thinking about what would happen with those points, but then I sort of stopped myself. I thought, well, look, that was a brilliant game that we just played. It was a great level of football. It was exciting football, and these are the games you just want to be involved in. And for us to be there, I just sort of again sat back and thought, I feel good. I feel proud of the guys. I feel proud of the club for being in this moment, in this stage of the season, and we've got so much exciting football to go and look forward to.
I don't know about you, but Mark Stott, I think at the minute's ringing me maybe 2-3 times a week, and it's always the same sort of questions. It's basically him saying, "Are we going to do it, John?" So if he's ringing me 2 or 3 times, how often do you get that call?
Yeah, Mark stopped asking that question to me because I don't give him the answer I think he wants. But managing an owner is difficult, and someone as passionate as Mark, who wants to see success here for County, is I just have to remind him sometimes it doesn't go that way, and we have to look at Plan B and so forth. And I think he's got bored of hearing it, to be honest. So, no, I think we've given ourselves a great chance with what we've done, with our form coming into the last match of the season, with the atmosphere around the place. I don't worry about any of the elements going into those games. I really hope we can get Will and Paddy fit, because then we're at full strength. Yeah. But after that, we've got good players in the building. We're really well organised. We've got a good idea of our game, and we have players that are physically well prepared. So I feel really good about us going into these last games of the season. What will be, and we'll do our best to try and take care of things. But every other club will be doing the same. So it's great to go into those games competing. It's great to go and compete for in matches that really matter. And now it's even better to have supporters to be with us as we do that. So lots to look forward to. And after what we've all experienced this year, around the club as well as in our own lives, I guess it's a bit of a ray of light at the end, and it's just great to be in this situation.
Of course it is. Look, that's a great note to finish on. Thanks for inviting us in again today. Really enjoyed
Pleasure.
it.
Good to see
Thanks
you.
for letting us use your office as well. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I need a few more pictures.
It's a bit barren, but we'll let you know.
Well, hopefully we've got some pictures to put up after the next few games.
And well, hopefully that's when we'll next catch up as well. Well done. Thanks for your time today.
Cheers, John.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.